Hey y'all, welcome to Craftable Things. I'm Patrice, and today's video we are going to be doing a review and test. And if you've been here for a while, y'all know how much I love reviewing and testing out products. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if this is your first time here. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you are notified of whenever I post new content. But today we are going to be testing out this product that is supposed to be beginner friendly. And subbing tumblers sometimes isn't the easiest, especially if you're just starting out with sublimation. And so I was super excited when PROSHEEN contacted me, so thank you PROSHEEN, to test out this product that they have for those who may be beginning sublimation or for those who may be struggling a bit with sublimation. And this product is supposed to make subbing tumblers easy, and you should be able to sub flawless tumblers with it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, y'all. So this company, PROSHEEN, they are on Amazon. They sent me some items to test out with some sublimation tumblers. So that's what we are going to be unboxing today, the items that they sent to me, and we are going to test it out. All right, so they sent me some heat tape. They sent a silicone mug wrap or such. Let's see what's inside. They also sent some silicone bands, and I'm guessing, I've never used any silicone bands, but I'm sure that they go around the bottom and probably the top to make sure that it's nice and tight. And this, the tumbler, probably just it goes inside of there. They also sent some feet gloves. Thank you. These are the heat gloves that they sent. Okay, y'all, so we are going to test some of this stuff out. We're going to see if this helps to improve the quality of subbing and if it makes it easier. So for those of you who may be newer into sublimation, this may be something that you would like to look into, and today we will see. Let's get started. All right, y'all, so we are going to test out these products and see how they work and if they are the best option for new tumbler makers. Okay, so this is the silicone wrap that we're going to wrap around the tumbler. But first, we want to go ahead and wrap our image. And I got this image from Design Bundles. All I did was put a name on it. And the first thing you want to do before you start designing or anything is always measure your tumblers. So if you are new, that is one of the most important things. And you are just going to take your measuring tape. And I find that having a measuring tape is the easiest way of measuring your tumblers. So you're just going to take your measuring tape and you are going to wrap it around. And this measures at 9 1/4. It measures exactly at 9 1/4. And so what I did was I just added a little bit more to the measurement. So we're going to do this at 9.3 as opposed to that 9 1/4 mark. You will also need to measure the height of your tumbler. And this is going to measure at, if you see here, it's right there before that hump at the bottom or that curve. It measures at exactly 8 inches high, but I am going to add a little bit also there just for a little wrap. I'm not really concerned about it wrapping fully underneath because sometimes that can cause ghosting. So I'm not really worried about that. Next, you want to get some alcohol and clean your tumbler off so that you remove any debris or anything that may be on your tumbler, because you don't want that to affect how your image is pressed into your tumbler. Today we are going to, or we are using sublimation paper, and the ink that we are using is my ink. You can find that inside of my Etsy shop, Dynamic Print Supply. And so I typically like to turn it upside down, and this is the tricky part because you have to make sure that your image is also turned upside down. This helps me flush it, and so I don't usually do it with my self-healing mat underneath, but today we are going to just leave it here, and as you see, it is right there. And so this design makes it kind of easy because it has this solid border here with the purple, and so you won't really notice a line if you have it measured correctly. All right, so I am going to put this just like this, and as I'm doing it, I'm pulling it very, very tightly. And so they did give me some tape, but I have my own heat tape. So you know what? I'm going to use the heat tape that they gave me. Even though this is thinner, I usually like to use a thicker piece of heat tape. So we'll use a mixture. I'll show you guys what I'm going to do. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this. And this just helps me flush it so that it is right there at the top. And I'm pulling it as I bring it around. And so what I'm going to do first, I am going to take, and this just helps me to make sure that it is going to be even from top and bottom, right? So I am going to get a little piece of this heat tape, and I am just going to, just making sure that it is nice and tight. I'm just going to take this piece and wrap it around the bottom. And before I do that, I do want to remove this little silver piece. And so I pulled it, so I'm pulling it very, very tightly. I'm very interested in seeing how this silicone wrap is going to work. I usually just do it with heat tape and shrink wrap, but we are going to do it this way today. And then I'm going to take another piece of the heat tape and then wrap that also underneath, and I am pulling it just like that. All right, so as you guys see, this is measured pretty accurately with very, very little overlap. So I do want to try the tape that they sent me, so I am going to go ahead and use some of this tape so that you guys could see how it works. But I would recommend for the tumblers, I would definitely recommend getting thicker tape. I don't really like this thin tape. I'm just taking little pieces, and we are going to, anytime you're doing tape and you're placing it like this, it's really good to pull it so that it's tight. But y'all, I don't think I can't use that tape. So yeah, I can't use that one. Not for my tumblers. I don't really like the thin tape. So we're gonna use the tape that I typically use for this. So I'm sure they have other sizes. And I'm just pulling it. I'm still pulling it to make sure that there is no air underneath. Now I know that the silicone wrap is going to help to prevent that, but I just want to check. I just want to make sure. All right, so that's all I'm going to put on here. Now with the A-sub paper, typically it bleeds through, and so I want to go ahead and put another piece of protective paper around it. All right, y'all, so I just got a piece of plain paper just to wrap it around the tumbler. Now I'm not sure how this is going to work because I don't use silicone wraps, but this company says that these are really good for beginners. And so I always get a lot of questions from people who are just starting their sublimation journey and they want to make tumblers. I always get a lot of questions as far as ghosting and how can they get it to sub correctly without any problems, because as y'all know, these tumblers are not cheap. So this may be excellent. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to place the tumbler inside of the silicone wrap and just slide it up. This is my first time using this, y'all. So I like to try it first on camera because you will be trying it first, and if there's any problems, maybe this will help you. So we are putting it through. And I'm assuming that I'm doing it correctly, but I am just sliding it up. There's probably an easier way to get it done. I don't really want to mess up or slide the actual image. Doesn't look like the image is being slid. It might be. Doesn't look like it, but let's see. Kind of glad I have the barrier paper on it. And sometimes instead of regular paper, you can use butcher paper. So you just got to keep pulling it down. So this definitely will make the image tight. It's not moving, but I would suggest putting a little more tape. I just had one piece of tape wrapping the bottom. So I would suggest putting a few more pieces of tape just to make sure that it's taped down. That's the only thing, because I could see, like, with moving it, I'm holding it tight, but I could definitely see that it could possibly be shifting the paper. But as you guys see, not too much shifting. Looks like it's up just a little bit, but we're gonna keep going. Uh-oh, I do think it's moving. It's the barrier paper moving, not the actual. It's possible. It's actually the barrier paper that I'm moving, y'all. It's not even the sublimation paper. The sublimation paper is still nice and intact. I don't know if you guys could see it. It's this paper. So maybe, I don't know. I needed to have that taped down a little bit better. I'm just, especially if you're going to keep reusing, because these are reusable, you don't really want ink on it, right? So we're going to see, now we're going to get a nice view, but the problem is the bottom part, there's going to be uneven pressure because the paper has shifted. That's all good. We're going with this, y'all. All right, a little bit more. All right, so we got it on. All right, and so it is very tight. And then also you have these 3 rings that it comes with, and so the rings are supposed to, I guess, help to like really make it stick, like to help with that pressure. So we are just rolling these rings down. I'm gonna put, and I'm definitely gonna cover one here at the bottom. I'm gonna put one right there at the bottom because that area where the butcher paper shifted, or the copy paper shifted. So we're gonna put it in the middle. I'm gonna put one down there at the bottom and one at the top, since it's 3. I think they do recommend that you use all 3, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to do, for me, this is too much work, but if you are trying to figure out your sweet spot for subbing these tumblers, this may work for you, but for me, it is definitely too much work. The one good thing about these though, it's reusable. You don't have to keep getting shrink wrap. So if you do tumblers, that's a plus. All right, so now we're gonna put at the top. As y'all see, my paper shifted so much. Look how much paper shifted to that top part, y'all. That's no good. So that means half of this tumbler does not have any protection. So we're gonna see if this ink transfers to the silicone, which is also good to know. So yeah. And for me, because my hands are limited in muscle tone, this is a little more difficult for me. It may not be for you, but we will see. But I can tell you one thing, y'all, this is tight. This is applying all of the pressure that we like when subbing onto tumblers. So that's pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and get ready and place this into the convection oven. I have my heat gloves, and these heat gloves are very, very thin. So that's also good. Like them. All right, I'm gonna put this one on, and then we're gonna head over to the heat press. All right, y'all. So here we have our tumbler, and we're ready to place it inside of our convection oven. And our thermometer is reading 375 degrees, and we are going to place this inside. We are going to bake these for what we usually bake these for about 4 to 5 minutes. All right, guys, so it should be time for us to take this out, and I'm gonna turn it off. It does look like the silicone is kind of bloated a bit. So we are going to see how this worked. All right, y'all. Gonna change my glove first. I need the glove on my left hand. I'm gonna take this one off. So these gloves are very thin, and they are supposed to be, you know, good for heat. But holding this, y'all, I can feel the heat like really, really fast. So my other gloves, even though they're a lot thicker and may not be that comfortable, I don't feel the heat when I have those on. So that's, I don't know. I don't know if thin is good. I'm just taking this off. Yep. I can't hold on to it for too long because you can feel that heat. Can you feel the heat? We used to have a song here. I think that's still the song. Can you feel the heat for the Miami Heat? Yeah. You can feel the heat, y'all, with these gloves on. And these are heat resistant gloves, but they are too thin. All right, so I'm gonna put both gloves back on, and then we are going to remove the entire silicone wrap. All right, let's push it down. Let's see how this comes off. It was kind of hard putting it on. All right, y'all. Oh, y'all, yeah, I don't know. This is too much. It's too much work. I don't have time for this. But if you are just starting out and practicing, maybe. But this is not the easiest, especially, and if you have a large order, this is not going to work for you. One tumbler and just starting. Okay, and so let's see if that bottom part where I put the, okay, so I don't see any transfer of ink onto this bottom part. The rest of that is lint from the gloves, but I don't see any ink on that bottom part. So that's good to know that the ink did not transfer, because I did have a nice amount of paper exposed here. All right, so as y'all saw, it slid the paper up. So you will have to have your image taped down really, really nicely onto your tumbler. Let's go ahead and remove the barrier paper. And we're gonna see how this turned out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this glove now. Okay, it's cooled off now. Probably because I'm sitting right below the vent. All right, let's go ahead and rip this off. And I'm gonna rip this little tiny tape. All right, y'all, so we are going to go ahead and do the big reveal. And this is what we have. Not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. It doesn't look bad to me. This is where the seam was, and it actually looks really, really good the way that it blends in with the other side. And remember, this is a glitter tumbler. I don't know if I told you guys that before, but it's like a glitter holographic type of tumbler. So depending on your angle, the color kind of changes, but it looks pretty good. I don't know if it was worth all of that hassle, but it looks pretty good. The bottom, though, I expected a little bit better from the bottom. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a tumbler issue or if this was just the way that I was pulling and yanking with the silicone wrap. All right, y'all, so that's going to be it for today, and we got our tumbler done, and this is actually going to be a birthday gift to a coworker. Her birthday's tomorrow, so I was happy to be able to use the product to test it out for this. But would I use it again? I probably won't. It was very, very difficult for me to use. I do have an autoimmune disorder, and pulling that silicone wrap onto the tumbler really caused me fatigue. So I probably won't use it again because it is very difficult. I guess that is the purpose of the silicone wrap, is to provide extra pressure and tightness to the tumbler and the image so that it adheres the way that it's supposed to be adhered to the tumbler, but it was just a bit too difficult for me to use. And it also took up way too much time to put it on and take it off. Now, for the silicone bands, you may be able to use those as a standalone. So that is an option so that you can make sure that you get tightness at the top and the bottom. But I don't know how effective those silicone bands really, really were, because I did have a little bit of ghosting at the bottom, and I'm looking at the top, and there is a little bit of ghosting at the top. So I don't really know if that really helped in any way, to be honest. But I did get it done. If you are a beginner, you may want to try it out. You may not want to try it out once you saw how difficult it was for me to use, but I know that I'm just going to stick to how I typically sub my tumblers. But I do want to thank PROSHEEN for sending me their product to test it out. Thank you so much for trying to provide innovative ways for us in the sublimation world to make it a little bit easier for us to start and be successful. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this product, if you have used this product, or if you have any questions regarding this product. Make sure to hit that subscribe button listed below if you haven't done so already. I would love to make this a permanent relationship. In addition, head over to Facebook and join my Craftable Things family over there on Facebook. Y'all, we are an amazing group and I love the atmosphere in our Facebook group. So head over there. Also, join me on TikTok and Instagram. But that's going to be it for today, y'all. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time.